KREM 2 News 10 at 10 begins now with Mark Hanrahan and Jeremy Legoo.
Good evening and thank you for joining us for KREM 2 News 10 at 10, where we give you more news in less time. Let's get started tonight. Well, new tonight, a man convicted of second-degree murder back in 2012 is headed back to prison, this time for first-degree assault. His sentence? 15 years. 29-year-old Avondre Graham was convicted of second-degree murder charges back in 2012. Shortly after his release, he was arrested in relation to an unprovoked assault in downtown Spokane back in January of 2023. Graham reached a plea agreement today with the court, pleading guilty to first and third-degree assault. He was sentenced to just over 15 years in prison. A man accused of road rage murder faced a judge this afternoon. Mark Renard is accused of pulling up next to the victim's car, yelling, and then shooting and killing a man. According to new court documents, investigators obtained Renard's phone, where they found several videos of him practicing to commit the crime. Court documents allege the video shows the interior of his pickup and then panning out to the driver's side window just before gunshots are heard. It's not clear when the videos were shot. According to the Washington State Department of Health, Renard is a registered nurse. He has since had his nursing license suspended. And now to our night beat with a quick look at the day's top stories. Brian Kohberger will appear in court for the first time in Ada County 1 week from today. Kohberger is accused of killing 4 University of Idaho students back in November of 2022. Judge James Cawthon expects Kohberger to appear at that hearing next week in person. It'll be a status conference to determine next steps in the case, like when to reschedule hearings that were in Latah County and to settle on a timeline for the trial. Cawthon says Judge Stephen Hippler, who is now assigned to the case, will determine whether he'll allow people to appear virtually for the case at next week's hearing.
That particular hearing is a status conference, and I think it's a chance for Judge Hippler, for the counsel involved, to kind of find direction for moving forward and moving the case towards the trial, and setting out some time for necessary hearings.
Cawthon says the entire trial is in Ada County's hands now, and all the resources will be Ada County's with no help from Latah County. That trial was expected to start in June of 2025 and could last 3 months. Well, heads up this hunting season. Idaho's first case of plague in a deer was confirmed this week. The infected deer was discovered on private land in Custer County back in June. But the lab at the Washington State University confirming samples from the animal were positive for plague. The Veterinary College and wildlife experts both reiterate this is extremely rare, both for the disease to infect a deer and for an infected deer to even be found by humans. Still, they want people to be aware of what to do if they see any animal that's behaving strangely.
If there was more, we would probably have found out about it by now. This has been months gone by. But yeah, kind of our standard answer to that is for hunters is if you see an animal that's obviously sick, don't shoot it, just report it.
Idaho Fish and Game says no one who came into contact with the deer tested positive. Humans can catch the plague, but it is treatable if it is caught early, they say. The city of Spokane Valley has agreed to begin settlement conversation with the companies they say caused nearly $4 million in damages to City Hall. 5 years after the Spokane Valley City Hall was built, council learned the building needed critical repairs. The city filed a lawsuit in 2020 against Meridian Construction along with other companies who originally built and designed it. In the suit, the city is seeking to replace taxpayer dollars used to repair the building. Although settlement talks will begin this fall, a trial for the city's lawsuit against the construction companies is set for July of next year. And that was your night beat. To learn more about any of these stories, just head to our website. That's KREM.com. Well, this year marks 110 years since the historic Davenport Hotel opened in downtown Spokane. And now some new additions are giving people a glimpse into its history. KREM 2's Connor McAvoy reports tonight.
The Davenport Hotel in Spokane stayed at its location on South Post Street downtown for more than a century. The first hotel in the country to have air conditioning, its founder, Louis Davenport, wanted to give guests a unique sense of comfort compared to other hotels. Something staff say is on their mind as they work to bring the hotel into the future.
Really combining that historical and modern flares.
Vice President and Area Managing Director Melissa Greens worked at the Davenport since work began for the new lobby bar just a few months ago. Guests have been able to enjoy the drink menu at the Peacock Lounge inside the lobby for decades. They're still able to do so as the lobby bar has its own menu specific to the hotel's roots.
This will be truly classic cocktails from the 1914s, 1920s. So, great French 75, classic Manhattans.
The hotel's history through mixology being present, Green is excited for another edition known as the Emporium, a gift shop that's designed to showcase not only the hotel's merchandise, but something else iconic to the building, the Davenport's soft peanut brittle, with candy makers on site making it fresh.
They'll be able to see it, but they'll be able to smell it and then be able to purchase it right there.
The designs are inspired by black and white photos tucked away in the archive rooms of the Davenport. Staff say some Spokane residents were understandably concerned hearing about the new additions to the hotel. But Green says while the history and what makes the Davenport great are not ever to be altered, how guests can learn about the building's past can.
I think it's our job to be able to not just bring this hotel and what this is into the future, but it's also to kind of continue the heritage of what this hotel and what Louis Davenport's vision was.
In Spokane, Connor McAvoy, KREM 2 News.
Both features are open as of this week with a soft opening on Tuesday. A grand opening for both features is set for Friday at 5 p.m. All right, let's switch gears and talk weather with Chief Meteorologist Jeremy Legoo. Jeremy, it is Friday Eve, so what's our weekend looking like?
Well, over the next couple of days, we've got a lot of sunshine and a big-time cool down.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, hear me out on this one. When it comes to the overall weather pattern, we had a low move through. The low sits right about there. And along with that low came a cold front. That cold front sits right about there. On the backside of that, we get nice cold air filtering in. That's coming all the way down from Canada and out to sea. And what that does is drop our temperatures. You'll notice it during the day, but it's much bigger at night. Seriously. We have freeze watches. Freeze watches, basically the potential to get down below freezing Saturday morning and Sunday morning. Those places in Northeast Washington and North Idaho that are far from a city center and in a valley will likely see some of the coldest temperatures in the days to come. Afternoon highs still look pretty mild. We top out near 70 degrees each day with overnight lows down near 40 and in the 30s.
All right, sounds good, Jeremy. We'll check back in with you later in the show. In other news, the 44-year-old man accused of going on a shooting spree targeting random drivers along I-5 spoke out in court today for the first time. The shootings happened on Labor Day. 44-year-old Eric Perkins is facing 5 assault charges with a firearm enhancement after a series of shootings between King and Pierce counties, mostly along I-5. 6 people were taken to the hospital with gunshot wounds, including one woman who at the time was in critical condition. Perkins spoke out in court today.
The doctor said that I was perfectly sane since 9 years old. Perfectly sane. And now, at 44 years old, because of the situation I was put in, and I had alerted the police that I was having a situation, now they're trying to say that I have a mental problem.
A King County Superior Court judge put a pause on proceedings until Perkins is evaluated by a mental health professional. $445 million. That's how much the Boeing machinist strike has cost the company so far. That's according to an estimate from Anderson Economic Group, which adds the losses could hit $1 billion by next week. Boeing says it also must begin furloughing workers. This comes after union members voted down a contract offered last week by the company. Also new tonight, a shooting out of Kentucky after a county sheriff allegedly shot and killed a judge in his own office. According to CBS News, Letcher County Sheriff Mickey Steins is accused of shooting and killing District Judge Kevin Mullen following an argument. Steins was arrested at the scene without incident. Kentucky State Police say he is being charged with first-degree murder. Well, the violence intensified between Israel and Hezbollah today as both sides exchange strikes along the Israel-Lebanon border. Hezbollah's leadership is vowing retaliation for coordinated explosions that killed at least 37 people and wounded nearly 3,000. Tonight, Israel says it struck hundreds of Hezbollah rocket launcher barrels inside Lebanon before they could fire into Israel. And that was your KREM 2 News 10 at 10, where you get more news in less time.